What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have my New Orleans Saints season preview for y'all, so let's hop into it. And if you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing. But anyway, last year the Saints finished with a 7-10 record, which was good enough for third place in the NFC South. The NFC South actually had three teams finish with a 7-10 record, and the winner, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went to the playoffs with an 8-9 record. So overall, the weakest division in the league last year, and really the whole division was just super lackluster. So it's really anybody's to take this year, and I think the Saints and the Falcons are the two teams, in my opinion, that can step up and take this division. So, with that in mind, the Saints went out and got proven veteran talent for the team. So, let's just hop into their notable free agent signings. So the first one was huge. In quarterback Derek Carr, they got him from the Raiders. Hopefully he can lead this team to the playoffs. They also went out and got running back Jamal Williams, which is a big deal because Alvin Kamara will be suspended the first 3 games of this season. And then New Orleans will have a nice duo there at the running back position between Kamara and Williams. They got defensive end Nathan Shepard. They brought back tight end Jimmy Graham, defensive tackle Kalen Saunders, cornerback Lonnie Johnson, defensive back Jonathan Abram, tight end Foster Moreau, center Billy Price. So, like I said, a bunch of veteran proven talent to come in and help this team win the division next year and make it to the playoffs. They also re signed guys like cornerback Isaac Yiadom, punter Blake Gillikin, defensive back JT Gray, tight end Juwan Johnson, defensive end Tanoa Kapasasongon, linebacker Ty Summers, and they signed defensive end Cameron Jordan to a 2-year extension. So signing some key players, mostly on the defensive side of the ball, to stay with the team and improve their chances this year as well. And they didn't lose too many players. They lost linebacker Caden Ellis, defensive tackle David Onyemata, linebacker Marcus Davenport, wide receiver Jarvis Landry, quarterback Andy Dalton, defensive tackle Shai Tuttle, and running back Mark Ingram. But they did a decent job at replacing all those guys. They also brought in a new defensive coordinator in Joe Woods. And I don't know how I feel about this signing. As a Browns fan, I know firsthand how Joe Woods' defense performed. And with Cleveland, besides that first year when the Browns made the playoffs, it wasn't too great. But I know the Saints do have a lot of veterans on that defensive squad. So hopefully things play out a little bit different for them and Joe Woods' defensive scheme can shine through in New Orleans. Otherwise, it might be a rough year for them. So moving over to their rookie class, with their first pick, they got defensive tackle Brian Breezy. Then they grabbed defensive end Isaiah Foskey, running back Keandre Miller, offensive tackle Nick Saldivari, quarterback Jake Hayner, safety Jordan Howden, and wide receiver A.T. Perry. So not too many draft picks, but still a few guys on that defensive line that can come in and make an impact right away, and just kind of depth guys overall. But now that we got all that out of the way, let's move over to their schedule and my record prediction for the Saints. All right, now, so in week one, they have the Tennessee Titans, and with a new quarterback in Derek Carr, I do think it might take a week or two for the team to fully mesh well. In Tennessee, they are a pretty decent team, so if the Saints aren't fully meshed well by this point in week one, then I do think the Titans can win this game, and because of that, I think the Saints will probably lose in week one. Then in week two, they have the Carolina Panthers, their first of two matchups against the team. And with this being a rookie quarterback in Bryce Young, I do think the Saints will win this game. And I do think the Saints have a pretty good chance of sweeping the division series against the Panthers. So I'll also give them the win down here in week 14. Then in week three, they have the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay. And I'm not super high on the Packers. I don't know how Jordan Love is going to be at quarterback. So with this game, I'm just kind of going off quarterbacks, Jordan Love or Derek Carr, and who I would rather take. And because I would rather take Derek Carr, I am going to give the Saints the win right here against the Packers. The following week, they then have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think the Buccaneers are probably going to finish last in this division. I know they won it last year with a sub 500 record, but this year, I think teams in the division, namely the Falcons and the Saints, made a ton of improvements. So I think the Saints not only beat them here in week 4, but I also think they beat them down here in week 17. Then they have the New England Patriots. Once again, another team that's probably going to be a middle of the pack-ish team. So I think the Saints get the benefit of the doubt and win this game right here. Then they have the Houston Texans in Houston, and once again, another rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud, and I think the Saints get the better of him and win this one as well. But then they have a Thursday night game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they once again lose for their second loss of the season. But then they rebound nicely against, once again, another rookie quarterback-led team and Anthony Richardson in the Colts, and I do believe that they will win this game right here. Then they have the Chicago Bears the following week in week 9, and I'm not super high on Justin Fields, so I do believe they will probably win this game right here. Then the following week in week 10, right before their week 11 bye, they have the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota, and even though the Saints are having a good year up until this point, I do think they will lose to the Vikings right here. So at their week 11 bye, they're sitting at a 7-3 record, which is really good for them. But their schedule is relatively easy. Yeah, they have their tough games, but majority of the games on this schedule aren't super hard. Teams that they're playing aren't like the quality, really good teams that, like, let's just say the Jets are going to be playing. And the only reason I say the Jets is because I have the paper sitting right here because it's going to be one of the next videos I do. But yeah, anyway, coming out of their bye, they're at the Falcons, and I think they drop this game right here, and I think they will ultimately split the season series with the Falcons. So they lose right there in week 12, but they win down here in week 18. Then, following that Falcons game, they have the Detroit Lions, and this is another game that I am high on the Lions, so I think the Lions win this one, and the Saints lose. We already talked about the Carolina Panthers game, but then they have the New York Giants at home, and I do think the Giants are a good team as well, and I think they probably lose to the Giants. The following week in week 16, they then travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And I'm not high on the Rams. I think the Rams are a super injury prone team. And at this point in the season, I think the Rams will have a ton of injuries. And I'm not saying that the Saints aren't going to have injuries as well either, but I do think they are going to be a more injured team than the Saints. And because of that, I think the Saints will win this game right here. So that brings the Saints record to 11-6, a really good record. Derek Carr played good, got the Saints back into the playoffs. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this record. Do you think it is too high? Do you think it is too low? Let me know. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you with another season preview. God bless.